Hello and welcome back to Johnson Branch Farm. My name is Rachel and I have a pretty busy day ahead of me. We had a holiday weekend and lots of people visiting and in and out, and it is time to catch up. So I am doing some cleaning today, I'm doing some gardening today, as well as some food prep. If you're new to our channel, our family purchased a 1995 single-wide mobile home. We pulled it onto our 36-acre property where we are building a homestead and trying to live as close to the land and as natural as possible here in our mobile home. I am so happy that you decided to join us today, and I am so appreciative of all of the comments, the likes, and the subscribes that you give this channel. It means so much to us. So let's get to work. Now that the kitchen is back in order, I feel like I can really start this day. Got a load of laundry going, and I am now out here in one of my favorite places of the homestead, and that's the garden. So I wanted to come down here before I started prepping a bunch of food because I want to try a few things with these. I don't know if you can see it. So these are radish pods, and what happens is the radish will bolt. It'll go to seed, so it's going to the part where it's going to put off a seed and make more radishes. And these are actually, it's seed pods, but you can eat them, and they're kind of like the texture of a green bean, but they taste like a radish. So I'm going to try fermenting them, and I'm going to try pickling them. My 7-year-old really likes them. He begs to come out here and pick them and eat them, and he's got a jar that's his own little stash. It's really cute. So I want to encourage that. He does not have a lot of things that he likes to eat, and when I find it, I try to make sure we keep it on hand. So I'm going to go ahead and pick these. Hopefully my basket will hold them because they're smaller than I thought. Now you want to pick them when they're about this size. When they get much bigger than this, they get real stringy and tough. Very similar to what you would do with a green bean. But I let these go to seed because they put off flowers, and I noticed the bees were buzzing around them, and I didn't have anything else with flowers in the garden, so I thought it would be a good way to attract pollinators, and I was right. So another thing that needs to be harvested while I'm down here is some lettuce for lunch. I try to eat at least one salad a day. It's been our go-to since it's so abundant here in the garden. And I also throw in some kale, and I make my own dressing. So we'll have that for lunch. And I've noticed that my garlic is starting to send out their scapes, which means that we are close to being able to harvest them. And while I'm down here today, I'm gonna go ahead and give them a little bit of fertilizer, which I have this vermicompost here from worms. And I'm gonna go ahead and just sprinkle that around the garlic so that they can have some extra nutrition while they are really now focusing their energy on making a nice garlic bulb, which will be a great addition to our homestead kitchen this year. Now this is a cut and come variety, so you plant it real close together and you can just pick off of it. I usually pick if I see that it's getting a little tall in the middle. I'll pick that off, or I'll pick around the sides, but you plant it real close together so it doesn't get big. And it's what you would call more of like a spring mix that you see in a grocery store. So that's why I didn't harvest like a whole head, and you just saw me clip in pieces of the lettuce off. And you can get quite a few cuts off of that each season. This section's coming to an end, and I had just started another section in another part of the garden. So by the time this is really done, that one will be ready to harvest, and you just keep it on rotation. Now, when onions fall over like that, see how the top is bent and it's not standing straight up? That usually means they're ready to harvest. So I need to put that on the to-do list this week and harvest and cure some onions. All right, got my little garden bounty, and it's time to go make some lunch and get some food prepped for the week. One thing I'm trying with the little radish pods is sauteing them. I've got some of this liquid aminos, leftover steak, an onion from the garlic, and the garlic scape off the garlic. These actually taste just like garlic. And I'm just sauteing them in some butter and some of this liquid aminos. We're gonna give it a try. One way that our family, a little songbird come through the room. One way that our family affords cuts like steak is that we purchase beef shares directly from the farmer. So that's how we were able to enjoy a ribeye and a T-bone, because normally that is not in the budget.
So can you help me?
Hold on, I'll help you in just a second.
Because it's stuck.
Oh my word, you guys. These are so good. If you're growing radishes, let them go to seed, because this is awesome. What's awesome about something like this is it's totally doable. You can throw some radish seeds in a container and they will grow. And you just let them keep growing until they send up their little shoot, they flower, and then you'll see the pods start to form. Lettuce is super easy to grow in a container as well. onions, all of that. You don't need a large piece of property, and you especially don't need a fancy house to grow a lot of food and to eat well.
Excuse me?
And I also want to add, you don't need a lot of money as well.
No.
Someone's over here stealing my lunch.
Is that me and you go in the garden?
And no, I didn't save all of the steak for myself. They actually had that with their eggs for breakfast this morning and requested pizza. What I do differently with our pizza is I don't have my own dough recipe. I found one online that I like. But my kids aren't particularly crazy, neither is my husband, about red sauce, even spaghetti sauce. Like, they'll eat it, but it's not their favorite. So I do olive oil, garlic powder, might add some onion powder, some salt, and then dried herbs. And this time I did oregano and basil, and they like that a lot. So at least they're kind of getting a little something green in there, but really it's just cheese and bread for lunch. But they love it, and I know what's in it, so I feel good about it. Next up on the list is sauerkraut. This is a really easy way to preserve cabbage if you've got it in the garden, or you want a probiotic, nutrient-dense side dish or snack. All you do is you add some salt to the chopped up cabbage, mix it together real good with your hands, add some garlic into the jar. I also like to add a teaspoon of mustard seed, and then you just pack it in there real good. You don't have to add water. The salt causes the cabbage to release water, and it will float up to the top. So as long as you get it packed in real tight, you will have enough liquid in the fermentation. I then put a fermentation weight on it, and I use one of these one-way valve lids. I'll link all of this down below so you can see it. And I'll let it sit on the counter for about 3 days. After that, it'll go in the fridge and it'll be ready to eat. The little radish pods have like a stem on the tip of them, so I went ahead and broke those off, and then I gave them a good washing in the sink. I'm going to do two things with these radishes. First, I'm going to go ahead and pickle them. So I just have a refrigerator pickle recipe, again, that I found online. And I went ahead and boiled up that brine. I'm adding some dill from the garden as well as some pickling spice to the jar. Once it's full, I'll add the brine, and then I'll let that sit in the refrigerator for about 48 to 72 hours. You do not need a weight on top of these. However, I went ahead and just put one because they weren't staying under the brine, and I wanted to make sure that all of them were pickled. Now, to ferment these, you will need to make a saltwater brine with them. They don't naturally have a lot of liquid in them like cabbage does. So I made a saltwater brine. You do about a teaspoon per cup mason jar. I went ahead and did 4 teaspoons of salt. Added all that in, covered them up with the brine. Again, did another fermentation weight in a mason top. Now on to yogurt, and the great thing about this is once I pour in the milk and the yogurt that I'm going to use as my culture, the Instant Pot will do the rest of the work for me.
Hey, Mama.
They're kind of slacking on their egg laying, huh?
I know this one gets triggered, so. her. Mom, I found too many chicken feathers.
Wow. Lots of chicken feathers, huh?
Yeah, they came from chickens. All these eggs from those chickens in there.
Good. Thank you so much for watching and following along. I hope you found this day helpful. I hope it inspired you to try some new things. I know I am inspired to try some new things. I did not think I was going to like those radish pods as much as I had, and I am so glad that I let them do their thing and go to seed, and that I was able to try something new today. So thank you so much for watching and following along. May the Lord bless and keep you, and we'll see you on the next video.